Hello, everyone. You're listening to Those Are the Girls with Mallory and Friends. I'm Mallory, and this is a pop culture podcast, not like other pop culture podcasts. We don't just talk about culture, we change culture. You guys let me know if you like that intro, if I should go back, all that stuff. Okay. So super excited. We have Pamela. Sorry, y'all. I'm still, over cold. With Pamela back, and she's going to talk about her nonprofit, Noble Critters, and I'm just excited to hear about it. So first, can you remind us who you are, and then tell us about your nonprofit?
Yeah, so I came on Those Other Girls probably a couple months ago. So I used to do modeling and acting, and I like to say that life has definitely made a 180, and now I'm a wife and a mom to a 2.5-year-old, and literally stay at home with him. So during his naps, I literally run my health and wellness business, my cookbook, and my nonprofit. So all the way from 30 minutes to 3 hours, I fit as much in as possible. But my nonprofit is Noble Critters. Do you want me to go straight into it?
Yes. Just talk a little bit about like what it is, and then I'll ask you more questions from there. So yeah, just tell us like what exactly are Noble Critters?
Yeah. So my nonprofit, Noble Critters, we basically sell apparel and accept in-kind donations. But it's pretty amazing because we give back 100% of our profits to our animal sanctuary partners. So unlike a lot of nonprofits, where, the founder, the president, all these people are like making money off of it, my board and I don't take anything. So we're all doing it as a volunteer basis, and we are a 501c3. So we are obviously like a real nonprofit, not just filed with the state as a nonprofit. And it's been pretty amazing because the whole reason why we started it is my husband and I love animals. We had 4 dogs and a cat. Now we unfortunately lost 2, but we have 2 dogs and a cat, and all of them are rescues. And like my cat who's making an appearance, we literally found him on the street, took him home, been with us ever since. But we really want to start an animal sanctuary of our own one day. And until then, because, you need the land, the infrastructure, you need to have enough donations to make sure that you can provide for the animals. We wanted to just do something ourselves. And this felt like an easy way to be able to give back. Somebody gets something for helping them, and, same thing, keeping it all in America based. And our sanctuaries truly are like one of a kind, the best. We have 3, and each one is like the best in their field, in my opinion. And we did a lot of research picking them and choosing, the ones that we did. So it's just been an amazing journey.
Wow. Lots of questions. I'm blown away that you guys don't take a salary or anything like that. That's amazing. My first question though is, can you explain a little bit what a sanctuary actually is?
Yeah, so each sanctuary obviously has different animals and what they do, what they take in, because everyone files, how they want to be. So, but most of the time a sanctuary takes in animals that really need help at the end of the day. So, for instance, one of my animal sanctuaries is Dallas Dog RRR, and they have the worst animal cases you've ever seen. So dogs and cats that have been abused. And when I say abused, I don't mean like the videos that you see where like somebody smacks them. Like, these dogs are going in for like blood transfusion, skin grafts, cats too, missing parts sometimes, like the worst of the worst. And what they do for these animals is just incredible. They'll obviously take them off the street, get them the help they need, then get them with a foster home who takes care of them until they're like really rehabilitated to be able to be with a new family. So it's just amazing. The work they do, I can't like rave enough about them. And then, for instance, another one of our sanctuaries actually only takes in animals that were tested on in labs. So whenever they find animals that are either going to be released or they will bug labs to release the animals, then they take them in and give them a home to just be in and be able to be an animal until like the end of their days. So like I said, we really did a lot of research with which one we took, and we kind of took one from every kind of demographic. So our last one is a farm animal sanctuary. And I feel like I learned so much from them when we first started talking to them and doing our research. They gave us like a tour of their facilities. And what a lot of people don't know is if a farm animal is born with like a defect or maybe not in the healthiest condition, most of the time they will just put them on the side of the road to let them die. So obviously for people like us, I mean, you may eat if I could talk, you may eat meat or not, but at the same time, how we feel about babies, it's still kind of heart-wrenching to hear that like these babies just pass away on the side of the road. Yeah, so sad. And like people don't know because obviously it's not like out there, and nor do they want you to know about it because then you're not gonna,
I had no idea. This is my first time hearing this.
Yeah, it's what everything I learned there, it's insane. It's kind of like horses, if they're racing horses, and if they're no longer valuable, like they can't race horses anymore, then they will just sometimes take them and shoot them. And so same thing, like instead of letting these horses die, Sale Ranch Animal Sanctuary will take them in and give them, a nice life to just be a horse and be around other horses and just eat and not have to race and just all these different things. So I really am just grateful that these animal sanctuaries were willing to partner with us. And it's been amazing just to be able to give back from people buying t-shirts and hats,
Well, that's really amazing. I honestly, which some of the farm animals I did not know. And I have a question about the animal testing. Do you know a lot about the animal testing? Do you know a lot about that, or is that?
Well, so, I mean, every, depending on what it is, cosmetics, obviously shots, things like that, they're all different. So it depends on the animal and what they are. I know that they have saved everything from, chickens and cats and I'm trying to think what else. I know dogs. Beagles are a big one. Beagles, I don't know why the breed.
I don't know much about it. I want to say weeks ago, it was this picture of someone, and they were making light of the situation, but they had a picture of like a rabbit, and then they had like lipstick on the fur, and it was like, this is what I thought animal testing was. And I looked at it, I was like, wait, that's what I thought animal testing was too. I thought you just maybe put lipstick on a rabbit and then called it a day, but people were commenting just like some of the other like realities of what it is. I was wondering if you could if you know a story that you can share, something like that, because I didn't know. I mean, I didn't think twice about it really.
Well, so I guess like the biggest one, because I don't want to say ones that people aren't going to be able to know or research, but I'm sure you guys have all seen about the beagles with Dr. Fauci and having their heads and just basically being eaten alive. So eaten alive. And obviously there are probably some where they are not as harmful to the animals when they're testing. But for the most part, from the stuff that I've seen or heard about, it's pretty cruel.
That's awful. I wouldn't say necessarily I'm an animal person. I like animals. I'm nothing against them. But even me, I find that's disgusting. I just feel like you just let them live. I don't see the purpose of doing, I don't understand the purpose of that, doing all that other stuff.
And I think if you're a reasonable person, I don't think you have to be an animal person to get that. I listen to Matt Walsh. Matt Walsh is the first person to be I'm not an animal person. My wife wants to get a dog. I don't really want to get a dog. Those kind of things. But he, even when that story came out, he's like, this is ridiculous. Like, why are you doing this? And the beagles, and how much money did we just spend to figure out that these things will eat beagle? You know what I mean? So I feel like the average person will be like, that's really weird that we spend money on this kind of stuff, especially when you get into that kind of research where it's like, why do we spend that much money on to figure this out, you know?
And it's like, what do we do with the information? Like, is it just like, okay, check, this weird thing we know now? Like,
yeah,
what's the purpose?
Yeah, I mean, obviously I understand I may not agree with it all the time, but I do understand for like cosmetic purposes and, you know, injections, things like that, like to make sure that you're not putting in your skin and it's melting your skin. But at the same time, call me crazy, I feel like there'd be people who would volunteer for that to get paid for it. Like, I feel like there would be people who'd be like, oh, you want to see if this makeup will melt my skin off? I'll do it, you know? So
and
I'm like, I don't understand.
Can't they make synthetic skin? Like, I feel like at this point, robots can do it. I don't know. I'm not in charge.
I mean, I would agree with you. I feel like there has to be like more better ways, but I think it is, they don't have to pay for it, like most of them. And then they don't really care like what happens to animals if they die. You think that they're like that, they don't care. And then the amount of space that they give the animals to live, they can do hundreds upon hundreds, you know? So I think that's the other big thing is, like I said, I don't really agree with it, but you would think you could at least, if this is how it's going to be, like maybe give the animal like a decent life while it's working for you. That's just my opinion. But, you know, it's unfortunate that this is how it is. But yeah, I've learned so much since even starting that. I mean, we just did it because we like animals, you know, and like anytime we've gone somewhere, I mean, we were on our honeymoon and I found stray dogs like all over the island and I would feed them and try to pet them and like do all the things because that's just how my husband and I are. So it's just unfortunate that obviously not everybody is that way. So we're just trying to do what we can for animals and help them out and help these sanctuaries out because they literally dedicate their lives to these animals. And they run off donations. So whatever we can do to help is what we can do. And we're willing to do it.
That's great. That's seriously, it's a noble cause. So one of my questions is, what are some things you're looking for when you partner with a sanctuary?
Number one, another 501c3, because that's important with our like federal filings to make sure that we're partnering with the same kind of people who are on, I guess you could say like the up and up with their paperwork, because I swear to you, I do more paperwork in a year than the time that I spend on my business, because it's like ridiculous the amount that they make you do to keep a nonprofit or a 501c3 running. But so that's really important to make sure that we're with another 501c3. And then I think also like visiting the facilities like we did with Sail Ranch and New Life. Dallas Dog, they're in Dallas, so I've never visited or even met the person that like we've, you know, sent checks to, but I had followed them for a really long time before I had even started this nonprofit. So that was kind of like a no-brainer for me because like I said, I haven't seen to the ability that they do with abuse cases and the rehabilitation. It's like they never see an animal and be like, there's no hope. You know what I mean? Like they still try. And for the most part, they're very successful with getting these animals through whatever happened to them. So I think that was another reason why that we chose them. Like I've been following, we lost our German Shepherd like 3-4 months ago. And it was like the biggest a surprise because he was running around so happy and he must have had a heart attack within like the 30 minutes we went in to have dinner. But I was following this case of a German Shepherd who was like dragged by a car. It was a puppy. It was just like a little baby, but lost pretty much the side of its face. It had a broken jaw. all kinds of just stuff all over his body that had to be repaired. And since it was kind of left, I think it was like 2 days before somebody found it. So maggots, all kinds of just, I'm not going to go into detail and gross your listeners out. But if you saw this dog when they found it, and it even had like a graphic warning on Instagram and everything, like if you want to see the pictures, to what it is now, it's just, you're like in the belief. You would think that you would see it and be like, this dog is not going to make it, you know? And like I was even reaching out, like, when it's available for adoption, like contact me if we can get it. Because I mean, we had just lost ours, and I just following this dog, and like the whole time when they're like, okay, we got a blood transfusion, let's see how it's doing in 2 days, I'm just like, come on, you can do it. Like rooting this dog on from the sidelines. But yeah, if you follow them, you know, obviously they have so many that they're working on, but you'll see a new update like once a week, and you're just like, wow, this is incredible. And it kind of like, it sounds weird, but it like gives you hope for humanity, because it's like, if they can do this for animals, like imagine what we could do for people if we all actually decided to do good. So I think that's the other like connection to me with animals, because to me, you should always protect like the defenseless. And I feel like babies, elderly, and animals are the defenseless. Like if you choose to be bad to any of those, that's on you. It's not on them. You know, most of the time, if a child lashes out, an elderly person lashes out, or an animal lashes out, it's because of something that's been done to them in their past. And that's on us as humans, not because of them, because we shape how they are in all aspects. So I think that's the other reason why I just have like a huge connection to it. And I'm sorry, that was a very long answer to your question.
No, that was good. That was really good information. And that's really cool that they showcase, because one thing I have a friend who started a nonprofit, and we were talking about stuff. And I was saying one thing that nonprofits in general should be doing is like sharing their story, like showing, like that's how people care. That's how you found out you wanted to donate to them. It's through the sharing of the story and telling the story, I guess. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but like telling the story. My next question is what I'm sorry. What advice do you have for people if they want to start a nonprofit?
Oh, man. Make sure you're willing to do a lot of paperwork. I think that was like I think the big thing, obviously, make sure you're dedicated to it and you're actually super passionate about it, because you should not be starting a nonprofit for something that you're not passionate about, because the work can make it defeating sometimes. I don't know if I was just naive, but I thought, you know, okay, we're going to file this, and then I'll probably have like a yearly filing, whatever it may be. And like, that's it. And no, I swear I must get a new paperwork every year that I forgot to file, that I didn't know I needed to file because no one told me I needed to file it. And it'll just like come in the mail saying I didn't file this. So I think the biggest thing is like, do your research, because it's not streamlined whatsoever. Nobody talks to each other. Like you'll get something from the state, and then you'll get something from the attorney general, and then you'll get something from your city, and all the things. So yeah, just do your research to know upfront what you are going into, I guess. Because I have learned so much on what you, I guess, have to do. And it's a lot of work, but obviously, you know, we started this, we want to see it through, and it's just very interesting and laughable at times, I guess is the best way to put it.
The paperwork part sounds very frustrating. And it sounds like a lot of work. My next question is, you said that no one on the board takes a salary. What made you decide to do that? Because to me, that's huge. I've never heard of a nonprofit doing that.
So when I started this, I feel like there was a lot of controversy in, maybe not like right at the time, but in the past previous years, wondering where funds were donated with nonprofits. And obviously there's a huge one in the past 2 years that's made a lot of money, and there's a lot of questions going around on where the money is going. And so I basically never wanted to be questioned, because to me, I didn't start this to get rich. I started this to try to make a difference until we could have our own sanctuary. And to me, it wasn't worth whatever possibly little money that I could make as a salary to then have to answer questions. So it just made it easier to say, like, A, I'm not taking a paycheck, but if you want to be on the board, you aren't either. And you can be okay with that, or you don't, and we'll find somebody else, because there's someone that'll be okay with it, And luckily, these are 3 people who, are amazing people. And so they were perfectly okay with it. And funny enough, one of them, I just used to work with, and he was not an animal person that much when I asked him to do it, but I just knew he was a good person. And so and he had a great business background. And so I felt like he would just be good to have with us. And he now has like 2 dogs, loves animals, always talking about it. And so it's just so funny how you never know what life can do and what can happen. And it's just I have an amazing group of people around it. And I'm very, very grateful that they are understanding and are on the same page with everything.
Yeah, for real. So what were some things you looked for? You said good person. What else were you looking for to be on your board?
So one of the women on my board I've known her since I was like 14. She's a huge animal lover. Same thing, has rescues, she rescued a cat, had one eye, like, just, you could tell, she is an animal person. So that is a pretty easy one. She has horses, so she has a big background in different kinds of things that is helpful when you're coming up with stuff, and great at marketing. So that was another reason why it kind of all made sense. The other person is my husband, so biased, but he's an amazing man. And obviously supported me through the whole thing, which was, as I said, a lot of work. So that was kind of easy. I think you're never going to find anybody more supportive than your significant other. So to have him on just makes it that much better. And then, like I said, the third was somebody I had worked with. My husband and I both had worked with, and we just always got along. So even if we had differences in something, we could talk about it and get along, which I think is the greatest thing, because it's always good in business to have different perspectives. So I knew bringing him on, it was just going to be a great way to always have different ideas coming in. Because for instance, we have a partnership coming up with a jewelry line, Erica Woolston, and there's certain connections and things like that you can only get from having diverse people on your board that have different mind frames. Like I said, he wasn't an animal person, but that's okay, because sometimes we may need an input from somebody who at least, may not be as close to the situation as me. And like I said, the other woman, Jessica, that we brought on. So I think that's always a good way to just choose people that are all, like I said, good people, but can bring different ideas and perspectives to the table, because my idea may not always be the best. And so we're going to always need that. I think in business, you always need to have super positive, uplifting people, but that can bring different things, because otherwise, if everybody is the same, you're always going to have the same ideas, and it's never going to get, further, because sometimes you need that person that brings an idea out of left field that you would have never thought of.
Yeah, you're so right. The diversity of thought, specifically the diversity of thought and interest, is so important. Because a jewelry partnership. That's huge. And that's out of the box as well. So that's really good. What are some other things that you guys have done over the years, like partnerships or events and things like that?
So we haven't done that much because unfortunately, right when we launched, 5 months later was COVID and shut down.
The
As
dream
well
killer.
as I was super pregnant. So I wasn't able to go to as many places. But we did do like red carpet event with it was kind of like an all around thing. They had a fashion show. They had were the speakers to, motivation and business and all the things. So we did do that. I think honestly, like 3 months before shutdowns. And then, so this next partnership with the jewelry is going to be our next new thing since getting started. We've had influencers post us and different things like that. But you'd be surprised, being a nonprofit, how many influencers are like, well, are you going to pay me? And it's like, well, no, I don't even make anything off this. Why am I going to pay you? Like, I better make money before you make money. But so that's kind of been hard because you would think that, I know for myself, whenever I've had nonprofits, as long as I believe in the cause, obviously if I don't believe in it, I'm not going to support it. But if I believe in the cause, I've always been like, of course I'll post you, like, no problem.
Yeah,
But
that's very interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. Continue.
No, you're fine. It was the same kind of thing. I just was kind of shocked with some of the responses when I would do reach out so much that I kind of like stopped doing reach outs because it just was, I feel like, becoming more of a headache than it was doing good. But yeah, I'm telling you, it's interesting, which I'm sure with your jewelry. But it's interesting once you start a business. I feel like the people you think are going to support you don't support you. And then the most random, amazing people support you.
Absolutely.
That you never thought. I feel like I have like a couple people who are always posting Noble Critters, always like, oh, I love what you do. And I've never even met these people, but they're just so supportive about it. And I guess see the vision. I don't know how else to put it, but it's pretty amazing how it's like you grow your own new tribe, I'm just going to call it, around each business. Because now I have 3 technically. Well, obviously the other 2 aren't nonprofits, but it's crazy. The people who are like so supportive of my cookbook don't support Noble Critters, and the people who are so around my health and wellness don't support the other 2, So it's so weird how you would think it would just kind of be like the same playing field across the board, but it is definitely not.
Yeah, that is interesting. I think people kind of just find their thing and kind of stick with it, I guess. I don't know. But I definitely understand and relate to that. You would think X, Y, and Z would be so for you, and then it turns out it's this random stranger that you all of a sudden are like best friends with, and you're like, do I invite them to my wedding in the future? You start thinking all these things, and it's like, never even met you. My, I guess, last-ish question is, where do you see Noble Critters in 5 to 10 years? What are some things that you want to accomplish? And then how can we, the audience, help you with that?
Big dreams. Ideally, my husband and I would have our own sanctuary. And just be doing the work ourselves, I guess you could say. We've always envisioned, which is why you need property, is having like our own house that we built with our own backyard, and then literally like a separation to a separate gate, and then have like our sanctuary literally like behind our backyard. So that way it's like all on one thing to take care of, I guess you could say. So obviously that's big dreams. Because you would need to find the land, be able to build the house, build the infrastructure for the sanctuary, all the things. But that would be like the best thing ever if in 10 years we were like having this conversation and it was like, we have our sanctuary. But yeah, ideally anybody can support us, whether they want to buy a shirt, do an in-kind donation. We have like it sounds silly, but we have like little Christmas ones up right now. So you can get like Christmas sayings on sweatshirts and t-shirts, tank tops, all these different things. But anything helps. Even following us and sharing us, like that all helps, because trust me, even for us to advertise, like Instagram and Facebook still want money from us. So that's not happening. So anything, honestly, from purchasing to just sharing, following us, commenting, all that really helps spread the word and lets people know like what we're trying to do, and get it out there.
Okay, well, everybody, you hear your call to action. Let's get the word out. I love this. I love what you guys are doing. And like I said, I'm not even really an animal person, but I do understand the need to, I mean, if an animal is hurt, you don't just walk past them. That I don't understand. Now, would I have, tons of dogs? Probably not, but I respect those that do. And I think, like I said, like God gave us dominion over these animals. So why not take care of them if you can't? I mean, that's the other thing too. I think sometimes, now I'm going on a tangent, but I do think sometimes people get animals and they can't really take care of them. So then they end up in these situations where they do need help. So that's just another, another side note. Is there any, also too, before we end, can you talk a little bit about I just want to give you some time to talk about your cookbook and your other business since you're on, just like a quick summary of them and how we can support and check that stuff out too.
So my cookbook just launched on November 11th, so I'm super excited about it. But basically it is a cookbook with all hidden recipes that have hidden fruits and vegetables. So ideal for like that toddler that's super picky, all the way to husbands, because I know my husband, if he has the option to not eat vegetables, he's not doing it. So that was like kind of my idea behind it, because when I was talking to my business partners and stuff, they're like, well, what's going to be the theme? And I was like, I have to have a theme. So that's kind of what I came up with. And at the time, my son had a dairy allergy. So all of the recipes are actually no dairy. But I do put in there that if you eat dairy, it's as easy as a swap of the same product that's not dairy free. Now he's not allergic, so we don't really have to worry about that. But it's kind of nice because it's for everybody with the way I did it. It's like, if you have dairy free, it's already there. If you eat dairy, not a problem. So it's called Dishing with Pamela, and you can get it at dishingwithpamela.com. We're so excited. We're actually going to do the same thing coming up, where we're going to donate a portion of profits to a different nonprofit that'll probably have to do with children, just based on, what the cookbook's about. So any support is obviously amazing with that. And the recipes are super delicious. I promise you, where I'm actually, as soon as we get off, I'm going to make one of them, which is sweet potato brownies. And it has the least amount of sugar you're ever going to get in a brownie. And it's so good and so moist. So I swear you will love what is in there. And then my other business is a health and wellness business. So we have all natural, no toxin products, all the way from like household cleaners, because obviously I have a 2-year-old, and what he touches and then puts in his mouth is very important to me. And I don't want it to be toxic cleaning products. So all the way from that to like supplements like protein and collagen and weight loss and all vitamins, all the things. So we're all made in the USA, which is probably important to this audience. And it's just really nice to have like all natural products that you can trust and are, clinically trialed and all those good things. So those are my things.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming on to talk about Noble Critters, and then to give us a quick look at your other endeavors. Everybody listening, check out Noble Critters. I will link them in the description, and let's support. This is, like I said earlier, this is a great cause. Anything else you want to add anything else?
No, thank you so much for having me. Obviously, I love what you guys do and what your mission is all about. And I am with you there. So thank you. Just appreciate even being able to come on here and talk to you more. And I love it.
Yeah. Oh, thank you so much. Everyone, thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave a review and a rating. Send me some prayers so I can stop coughing. And share this with your friends. I think this is a perfect episode to share with your friends. Non-political, non-controversial. We can all support this nonprofit. We can all support hurt animals. So yeah, I guess that's it. Thanks everybody for listening. Have a good day, evening, however, wherever you are. Bye.
Bye.